Hi everyone, it's Miss Rebecca. Today you'll need a white paper vertically, a ruler, a pencil, an eraser, and a circle to trace like a cup or a plate, and something to paint with. Okay, so first place your circle stencil on the top of your paper and slowly trace around that circle. Okay, there we go. So you can see it better. It's just a circle at the top of your paper. Now take a ruler, find the center of your circle, and start at the top of the circle and go to the bottom of your paper. It doesn't have to be a certain length. Then find the middle of your circle and kind of make a slant or a diagonal line that cuts through the center of the circle. So it looks like a plus sign, but it's a little bit slanted. And if you mess up, just erase. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just a guideline for you. Okay, so now we're going to create these curves. 1, small curve, 2, and 3, right to the middle. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, and 3. This is going to be for the umbrella. Now you're going to make a curve that meets the bottom of your circle, coming out here and ending at the bottom of your circle. So it looks like a U, like the letter U. Okay, and that's the back of someone's hair. Now we're going to make the hips coming out with 2 curves. Try to make it the same on both sides, and a curve on the bottom of the skirt. 2 diagonal lines for a nice little ruffle on the bottom of your skirt. So you're just going to make 2 little curvy, wavy lines all the way throughout the bottom, and then 2 more curves to make the calves or the bottom of the legs, and end it with 2 little feet at the bottom. These are all just curved lines. Try your best. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just curved little booties or feet. Now we're drawing curves that go from the top to the points of your umbrella. So the top of your umbrella in the middle curves down to the points of the umbrella. And now the shoulders are just going to show a little bit of the shoulder with a curve right here. It looks kind of weird right now, but they do look like shoulders. And then the bottom of the elbows, which are these 2 little curves right here. Okay, now outline around the top of that circle, because that is the umbrella part that you are going to keep. Okay, and then outline around the curves of your umbrella, because we're going to keep that too. We're going to erase some guidelines. So that initial slanted diagonal line, you can erase it. Go ahead and erase it. You don't need it anymore. And then you can also erase the circle that goes here all the way around. You don't need that anymore. And you can erase this vertical line here that's going inside her hair, erase it, and then erase this vertical line here that's on the skirt and inside the ruffle. But you do keep that vertical line where the legs are. Keep that. All right, so just look at it, fix it up, outline what you want to outline a little darker, brush off any eraser crumbs, and you see the feet now. Sorry you couldn't see it before, but it's just 2 little bumps for feet. No real detail. Now take your ruler, find the middle of the skirt, and make a slanted diagonal line from the middle of the skirt to the bottom of your paper on both sides. And this is going to look like a little walkway that this girl is walking on. Okay, and now starting at both sides, draw a curve for a large tree. That's going to be on this side, and a curve for a large tree that's going to be on this side. And these 2 trees are in the foreground or the front, so they are the largest of your trees. We're only going to do a few trees. So these first 2 are the biggest. Remember the letter V that goes on the top to make it look like a branch. Now the next tree is going to be medium size, or not as big as the last 2. So you're just drawing a curve and a curve, curvy lines that are next to each other. And then again, diagonal lines, or the V, the letter V, to make these branches. And we did this before in the last project when we made our tree with the owl. So it's the same idea. When you add little V shapes to the top of your tree, it makes it look like branches. Now the last little set of trees we'll do are the skinniest, and they are in the furthest away in the background. So take your ruler, and we're just going to draw a horizon line, which just means a horizontal or long line that goes across your paper to show where the sky and the ground meet. And then just some wavy lines on those two back trees. Okay, so this is now your background. The background just means all the space that's around the girl in the front. Okay, and you're going to take your pencil and just fill in with a light gray shade, fill in the tree trunks. So just take your time and fill those in. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be too dark either. So you're outlining around the branches, and notice they make those little V shapes. See that V? So outline your branch and add a little V, the letter V. Okay, even looks like a Y. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing on this side. Here is your smallest tree. Fill in the tree trunk with a light gray shade of your pencil. There it is. And then fill in your branches. Make that V, the letter V, or Y if you see a Y. But the branches, they just split, and that's how they come out there. Notice that you can see one branch go behind the other. And here's your horizon line. You can outline that. Okay, now your next set of trees are here, the medium-sized trees. Fill those in with a light gray of your pencil, and it can be a little bit lighter or darker, doesn't matter. Just fill it all in. Take your time. Try to stay inside the lines. And I just go back and forth, and I might go the opposite direction just to tighten up the sides. Here's your V. Filling in my V. Filling in the branches. And they crisscross, overlap. That's okay. And there's another little V right here. Okay, there's my medium tree. Now we're going to do the other medium-sized tree. We're going to fill it up with the gray of your pencil. Just go back and forth, stay inside the lines. And if you have to go the opposite direction like this, go for it. There we have a tree trunk. And now we're going to do the branches, and notice it forms that V or Y even. And this branch goes right behind the other branch here. So it skips over and then starts again here. Okay, there's another V to make it look like a branch. There we go. Okay, almost there. Beautiful. Now, we're going to make the background, which is all the space surrounding this girl, with slanted, broken lines. So these slanted lines, notice I'm going right on top of my branches and my trees, going right over it. It's okay. And some are long and some are short. And this represents the rain. So the rain is slanted, diagonal, broken lines. So you just go ahead and do that right on top of the trees that we just colored in. And some are long, some are short. We're just making these broken lines diagonal. Now, we're going to also do some darker slanted lines like this. And that just emphasizes the rain, or makes it look like some of the raindrops are closer and some of them are further away. So just take a few of these slanted diagonal lines and make them darker, and then a few of them will be lighter, and they're all mixed up to make it look like it's raining. There we go. Okay, great. Now, here we go. We're in the ground now. We're going to do the same idea with the light diagonal broken lines. Just lightly sketch your diagonal slanted lines here, fill it in, and then we're going to do the same thing where we take a dark diagonal line and we're just adding a few in there as well. Okay, there we have. Now we have the ground. So this is the walkway that you're going to create horizontal lines now. So those horizontal lines, it's the same idea as the rain, but this time the lines are going horizontally or across the paper. So you're going lightly, and then you're going to add a few dark. So do some light, do some dark. And these little broken lines go all the way across the walkway. Just like that. Okay, now to create that illusion that water's dropping on the ground, you're just creating these little, it almost looks like grass, like you're making grass, but these little broken lines that splash up from the ground. And you're going to do that all over the walkway here. Okay, scatter them around, and now it really looks like it's raining. Now inside her hair we can add a little texture. So just outline the hair, this U shape here, and follow the curve of the side of her hair until you get to the middle, and then do it on the other side. Follow the curve until you get to the middle, and the middle should be kind of straight. Then if you want to shade that in, you can shade in with your pencil a light gray starting from the bottom, and notice you could still see my directional lines, my curved lines that I drew, and I'm just filling in with my pencil using that gray shade to make it look like a dark-haired person. And you can also add those directional lines coming down from the umbrella. So there's her hair. Now outline her skirt. Inside the skirt, you can do anything you like, but I'm a big fan of checkers, so I'm going to add a checker pattern to her skirt. So what I did was drew some curves, and now I'm drawing some diagonals on the ruffle part. But you can do any kind of designs on this skirt that you like. You don't have to do this. Or you could leave it solid, a solid color. But I'm going to do checkers, which is something I like. There we are. So now I'm going to lay this flat because I'm going to start to paint. Now take your black, put a lot of water in your black. Notice I'm using a lot of water because it's watercolor. So to activate the paint, you have to use a lot of water inside the water paint. Now that tree in the foreground is going to be black. So we're going to paint, fill in the black of this tree that's in the foreground. And we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So fill in this tree here with your black. Now, if you like your picture here, you can stop here. You don't have to move on. And then this would be a black and white painting. But if you want to continue with me, let's do this. So I'm just using water, the water that's on my brush, and going over the rain by doing these diagonal brush strokes. Okay. I'm not using much paint. I'm just using the watery black. And I'm painting over these medium-sized trees. But again, you don't have to if you like it how it looks with just the pencil. But I'm going to keep going with my painting, and I'm going to add some color to this. So this is where the contrasting comes in, because the color is really going to contrast or be different from the black and white drawing. Now, I'm painting in my checkers with the black. So when you do a pattern, you're doing every other square in a row. So just start on one side and skip over a white square, then paint a black square and skip over a white square so that it goes black, white, black, white. Now, if you are having trouble getting in those squares with your paintbrush, you can switch to a black colored pencil or a black marker if you like that look better. I find that painting is faster, but if you like to color more, then just switch to a colored pencil or a black marker. We're going to fill in all of these checkers with black. So we're going to go black and white in this pattern here. Now your skirt, it could have flowers on it, it could have polka dots, it could have spiral swirls, it could have just one solid color. You could have a girl with a yellow dress, a girl with a blue dress. It's really your choice. So notice my pattern here. Just staying in the lines, I'm painting in every other square. And there we go. So this is her little checkered skirt. Okay. All right, so now we're switching to color. So I'm doing a really bright red umbrella, and I'm just going to paint over the entire umbrella portion with red. And your umbrella could be any color you like. So if you mess up like me, you see how I use my finger here? Your finger can just wipe it right off. Don't worry. So you'll notice that there's times where this paint is going to bleed, meaning they blend into each other when they shouldn't. So if they do that, you can use your finger just to fix it. And I'm going to give her red shoes, because what girl doesn't like red shoes? There we go. Alrighty. Now, for the fall effect, take your orange and you can just make these little spots. Notice as I go up the paper, my spots get smaller, and as I go down my paper, the spots are bigger. So big spots on the bottom and little tiny spots towards the top, and you're stopping at the horizon line. Switch to yellow and go ahead and make your spots big on the bottom and then smaller as you go up towards the top. So big spots on the bottom, and then as you go up, they get smaller and smaller. Okay. And there's my fall leaf effect. All right, now if you like it like that, you could stop. But I think that I'm going to look at it and see, do I want to add any more color or leave it this way? You decide. You look at yours and see what you like. So for me, I think I want to add a beautiful skin tone here. So I'm just going to add a brown, and you notice that my red shoes, they blended right into my skin tone, so I just wiped it. So I'm just painting the shoulders with a nice little brown, and I'm going to paint the elbows next. It's a little tricky because this area is very small, so it's a little tricky. I'm giving her those little elbows now. And then the last thing I'm probably going to do here is give her a hair color. I'm going to give her that nice brunette hair color. And so I'm taking a brown and a black, and I'm going to do a little blending. I'll start following those directional lines that's on the bottom of the hair, and then I'm just going to fill in with black, and it's going to blend with brown a little bit. That's okay. All right, and I think I like it the way it is now. Show me your stuff. I hope to see your work on Google Classroom. Thanks, guys.